So that was President Biden at the White House declaring for the first time so far that he now does believe that Vladimir Putin will militarily invade Ukraine. The president just getting off the phone with our European allies who he says are united and determined and are preparing a massive amount of economic sanctions against the Russians, who he says is pushing out a massive amount of propaganda all over the place. And we don't know any more than that, is basically what he said. Well, Leslie, it looks like the intelligence community believes and has told the president that they're going in. And that intelligence is either right or that intelligence is either wrong, and we just don't know that. But you could tell by the president's somber tone, and this was pretty somber, that he thinks it's happening any day now. This was different than he usually is.
His tone was different, I agree, but the message is the same. And look, if it has a bill and it has webbed feet and it quacks, it's a duck. And when you look at over 10 years of what Vladimir Putin has done, first of all, Vladimir Putin has wanted Ukraine as bad as a teenage boy has wanted the centerfold and Playboy since before he was Vladimir Putin.
You're saying really badly.
And in addition, when you have 90,000 additional troops, you have 150,000 troops there right now, one. Two, you have these small cyber attacks, and that's how they start, and then they escalate. And then three, you have this propaganda. That's the MO for the invasion. That's what he did last time, and that's what he's done before. So why would he be doing anything differently now?
But why didn't Obama stop him in 2014 when they annexed Crimea and when they declared a war back then?
Well, you brought up a very good point, and you took one of my points. But
I did. I didn't know that.
One, Ukraine is not a NATO country, and two, this is one area where we have bipartisan support. Even though it's symbolic, the Senate has passed a resolution echoing the sentiments of the president, both Democrats and Republicans. We don't want military involvement now. We didn't want it when Barack Obama was president.
Yeah, but he actually annexed Crimea.
Leslie, is there anything differently the president could have
where's
done
the
to avert
grassy
this
knoll
situation?
underneath the table? Okay, look. Vladimir Putin reminds me of the silverback gorillas that, do this, right? He's all about, sorry to the sound people there.
Yeah.
He's all about power. He's all about money. We need to take a deep breath. The Western world controls over 50% of the world's economy. China and Russia combined less than 20%. So when it comes to money, we're going to win. And that's why I think that we see confidence, not just in Biden, but in our allies like Germany and others. And in addition, we know we're not going to send in the military, right? We're not going to send in the military. And we have bipartisan support on not sending in the military. And we also have bipartisan support on the sanctions. So, he's having this power grab, which is Ukraine, which he's always wanted. But what's going to happen after? And I do think that not just President Biden, but I do think along with our Western allies, he's going to be smacked so hard financially that he will regret this decision.
He knows that.
But then the question...
Do you think he can stomach the sanctions and say, I'd rather gobble up the country?
No, I don't think he can stomach the sanctions, and I was just going to agree. I don't know that he has the money to last there for more than a couple of weeks.
Did you just agree with me?
I did. I did. In terms of Russia,
I agree.
Economically surviving and invading, and how's he pay for it?
Yeah.
Occupying.
This is like in Blazing Saddles when they created a fake town. They used all the wood they could possibly find to create exact replicas of themselves, and that is what Russia is doing with their military. They have every single thing they've got in one place
out there
to try and make it look they've got much more waiting in the wings, and that is a falsehood. To your point, their economy is in shambles.
It is in shambles.
People in that country are hurting. They don't want this. They can't afford to take care of...
But they have eastern Ukraine. Why do they need all of Ukraine?
Well,
someone explain that to me?
They need it as a buffer militarily, and they want to go and reclaim the old empire that they lost. That's what they want.
He can't afford to.
Look at the British, the Romans. I mean, since the beginning of time, men have been wanting to get more and more territory.
Yeah, you know what? If there was a female leader of Russia, she never would have invaded.
So, Leslie, it's all about men, right? It's all about the gorillas. Since the beginning of time, it's been men.
You know what? We're on the pink team over here.
Well, good thing we said Kamala over there.
Can you name a woman?
Can
you name a woman that's had a power grab?
Catherine the Great. She was not a pacifist.
Boom. Wow, you just got Catherine the Great. I didn't see that.
I did get Catherine the Great.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
Great.
All right. Well, I think...
Major chaos in Canada as petty tyrant Justice Trudeau makes good on his promise to crack down on the Freedom Truckers. A massive police presence arresting and tussling with protesters on the streets of Ottawa after taking 2 of their leaders into custody. Some truckers saying they're ready to leave with honor. But officials apparently aren't letting them go and are impounding their vehicles. The truth is, Leslie, that there are now 100 checkpoints. There are 100 checkpoints. It's almost like East Berlin. And they're telling these truckers, if you have an animal and we arrest you, you may never see the animal again. And we're going to call in Canadian Child Protective Services if you have children with you. Your kids are going to be taken into custody. I mean, you've got to admit that this is so beyond the pale of a peaceful demonstration that is objecting to a year and a half of being locked down. And, you know, they're over the top here, wouldn't you say?
I would say let's look at the people of Canada and specifically of Ottawa, and what are they saying? If you look at the polls, they're not with the Freedom Convoy or Elon Musk. If you look at the polls, they're with the vaccine mandate. And if you look at harassment, there is a family that had a rainbow flag at their home, and they were harassed. Wait. There were homeless people and people working at a homeless shelter that were harassed. In addition,
what does harass mean? Yelled at? Are you talking about assault?
There are individuals in this community who have had to close their businesses, and it's hurt them economically.
What about what happened in this country?
They fear for their security. So
what about what happened in the United States?
Is Justin Trudeau and the police who met with the organizers of this movement originally, who is his responsibility to? These Freedom Convoy truckers or the people that elected him?
Let me ask you a question, Leslie. Leslie, the problem is, and I said this yesterday, I said Parliament has to vote on this Emergencies Power Act.
They punted.
And they punted.
Absolutely.
They don't want to vote on it because they are with the truckers. So you can tell me that the Canadians were supporting Trudeau. This guy is out of his mind.
I don't agree they're with the truckers, and I agree that they should have punted. And the reason is, this is not World War II, okay? And that's really, if you look at the situation, the scenario, what this
Are we going to have to liberate Canada?
But what do you think about the fact that he just disappeared? He wouldn't even talk to them.
Well, a couple of things. Think about our nation. I know we're a greater nation than Canada. Sorry, Canadians. But would a president, and I don't care if they're Democrat or Republican, would a president sit down
He would
with
send
people,
someone. He would send someone out to talk to them. Trudeau didn't do it.
Yes, he did. The head of the police sat down with the organizers.
The head of the police.
Yes.
Who quit.
Democrats are worried that their party is quite tainted. Yeah, they're getting a major warning on COVID mandates. Internal polling reportedly shows a majority of swing voters believe the party took the pandemic response too far, and the backlash could prove to be politically fatal in the midterms. But not all Democrats are ready to move on, as you know. So, Leslie, what is more politically problematic for Democrats right now? Inflation, the issues with masks in schools, or the horrific situation with Russia?
A and B. Not C, not foreign policy at all. I mean, it's not top 10 of any voter, Democrat, Republican, swing or not. I mean, it's the economy and COVID. And in my state of California, what Gavin Newsom did is he's always gone by what's going on with the hospitals. As we saw, the Cron, I've never heard it called that before. I like that. I'm going to take that. The Cron was not killing people at the rate that Delta was. We didn't see the numbers in the hospitals and the ICUs, so he said, let's take it off. There are concerns. I'm a Democrat. I'm not wearing my mask. I don't have it here under the table and, under my leg or anything. But there are concerns that what's going to happen next? What's the next variant going to be? And are we going to be, putting all those masks back on? But I hope it's not all politically motivated, because I think it's terrible that any of this has been political. Democrats know historically that they're going to lose seats in the House and hopefully not too many in the Senate, with or without COVID. But then again, by the time we have the election, I think a lot of voters will have forgotten.
Okay.
Get smart. Fan Mail Friday. First question. We only have time for one. If you're in a bad mood, asks Steve, what's one thing that can turn it around? How about you, Leslie? What gets you out of a bad mood?
Shopping and booze.
Putting them together. amazing.
Yeah.
There's nothing like drunk shopping because it ruins all the. You don't think about the prices
Quick
anymore.
answer. Yeah, go ahead, Leslie.
Sorry, I missed that one. A Florida teacher surprised her kindergarten students with a snowman. Robin Hughes learned most of her students had never seen snow before after reading them a book about a snowman. So she convinced her sister, Amber, to mail a snowman over 800 miles from Kentucky to surprise her students. They named the snowman Lucky for making it to Florida.